What is going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building, okay? And if you are new to this channel, it's Richie Sky in real life, and we are talking about travel, lifestyle, motivation, and life advice, right? You know, and I oftentimes get questions about, starting a YouTube channel and, different questions about YouTube. And I figured today I would do a video really talking about whether or not you should start a second channel. Now, I actually went through this process of trying to figure out, if I should start a second channel or a third channel and what it should be about. And then I sort of realized that YouTube can kind of be like your own sort of network, okay? If you will. And whether that's you showing your face on YouTube or not showing your face on YouTube. Personally, if I could do it all over again, I would actually have not shown my face in my videos. Mostly because I don't really aspire to be famous or anything like that. I did work in news and I still do work in news, so obviously it does help. However, there are times when I just don't feel like getting dressed, right? You don't feel like, putting on something and getting in front of the camera, when there are a lot of creators out there who really just do voiceovers and then add a lot of great visuals to their content. So if I could do that over, I would definitely do that. But since we're here, okay, and since most of you guys know who I am, if you followed my other channel and you come over here from over there, then we can go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of whether or not you should create a second whether you should create a second YouTube channel for your content creation business, because that's essentially what you are doing, okay? You have entered into the content creation space, and so as such, my advice is to treat this as a business. Now, I've already done a video talking about some things that I would do if I'm going to be getting on YouTube, financial wise. I'm not a financial advisor, but these are just some things that, I'm doing that have helped me and some lessons that I've learned along the way. And so today I'm gonna impart with you some other lessons that I've learned with regards to starting a second YouTube channel. Now, I'm gonna tell you in certain situations where I think having a second channel will be good, and I'm gonna tell you a certain situation where I don't think a second channel would be good, okay? So I'm gonna use my phone here for my notes. So the first thing that I've sort of gleaned is, yes, you should start a second YouTube channel if you have already developed a successful channel in a specific niche or a personality channel that really works for you, but you want to dive into something else that is a bit more specific because that's where your interest lies. And let me tell you why that is. With regards to AdSense, you're gonna be paid based on your CPM, which is the cost per mil, right? And that's the amount that an advertiser will pay per 1,000 views of their ad on your video. So what that means is that certain niches will be paid higher CPMs, and the amount you receive, which is the RPM, the amount that you take home per 1,000 views of what they paid minus YouTube's fees that they take out, right? And if that sounds like some convoluted math, it's okay, okay? The bottom line is this: certain niches in the YouTube space get paid a lot more because advertisers for those niches will know, okay, that certain individuals are watching that channel for a specific reason. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you already have a channel that's focused on, let's say it's just a personality channel, or maybe even a news channel, right? News channels, to me, I would not, listen, if I could tell anybody anything, Getting into news is a fast way to get into the YouTube game. However, it is also usually the fastest way to burn out in the YouTube game. So it is not always my top suggestion when people say, you know, what do I want? Like, I want to start a YouTube channel. I don't always suggest news, mostly because I'm tired, okay? And so given that, you just have to determine whether or not you want to be in that sort of race or not. And it's kind of a rat race a little bit. And what I mean by that is that it's so fast paced. There's always news pumping out and you got to stay on top of it. Now, let's say you have that channel, but you want to go into the finance niche because maybe you studied finance or maybe you just know a lot about stocks or trading. You're going to get paid a lot more for that niche because advertisers are going to be willing to pay more because they know that anybody who is watching those videos are actively searching for financial content. And those are the videos that advertisers will want to get their ads in front of. So I would say if you're going to start a different niche and you kind of know exactly what that niche is, then I would say go ahead and start your second YouTube channel and focus and hone in specifically on that niche, okay? Or in the sense that you kind of are playing around with the idea and you don't quite know what the niche is, then you can still start a new channel because I think that your viewers and your audience and your passion for the topics you'll start to zero in on those. But I will also tell you that YouTube is a numbers game. So if you think that you're gonna get into this and automatically have a viral video because you've done 20 videos, you are sadly mistaken. That's not always going to be the case. It could be the case, it absolutely could happen. It happened to me. However, what I will also say is that it also takes patience. Every video that you put out is consider it real estate, and at any point in time, that video could blow up, okay? So really the opportunity here is for you to just keep creating the content, okay? Just don't stop creating it because the only thing that is costing you is time, okay? Unless you don't have a lot of time. Now, I say no to starting a second channel if you're just starting out on YouTube and you want to figure out what your niche is going to be. I'd suggest honing in on a few things that you're very interested in and creating content around those things. So let's say you are into BookTube is really hot, okay? So this is for people who love reading and love talking about books and love, or maybe even AuthorTube, because there are a lot of authors out there who love talking about their writings and what they're doing and how they're creating their books. But BookTube is definitely a good niche to go into if you are an avid reader, okay? Because people want to know what other kind of books to read. So maybe you want to, go into BookTube. Maybe you want to talk about books, but maybe you also want to review some movies and shows that are related to some of those books. You can create topics around a broad sort of space that you're carving out for yourself when you first start. I personally would not suggest starting off with vlogs unless they are travel vlogs, and in which case you are really putting some energy and effort into those travel vlogs because people love seeing new and interesting places. So if you focus on showing the places and less of yourself, and you can, not to say take yourself out of it, but what I'm saying is really showcase the places that you're going and tell the story of where you are. People are really, really interested in that, I've found. So I have some more of those types of videos coming on my channel for my travels, but I would say not to start a second channel if you haven't quite honed in on what you want your first channel to be about. Now, I say yes to starting a second channel if you intend to treat YouTube content creation as your business, as your main source of income, and you plan to develop what I like to call cash cow channels. These would be channels where you don't need to show your face. They are in popular niches like the tech niche, like the love and relationships, you know, fitness and health, news and gossip. If you plan on going into any of those niches, which you technically do not even have to show your face for, I would definitely say go ahead and start as many channels as you can, okay? Because again, look at YouTube as your network, right? You are the Netflix owner, right? You can consider like your YouTube channels like your Netflix, and you can have different, you know, genres underneath those channels. So you might want to develop a drama channel. You could develop over here a tech channel. You know, all kinds of things that you can do. You would probably need a lot of, you know, a team to help you do that. Or maybe you just got more time on your hands. Time on your hands, okay? That's the sort of thing that, you know, people are doing nowadays. And they are creating these, what I call cash cow channels, and they're making a lot of money from the AdSense because they have videos that are in all kinds of different categories and niches, but each of those channels is its own niche. So if you're going to do that and you're gonna treat YouTube as your content creation platform of choice, then I would suggest, yes, start as many YouTube channels as you please. Now, I would also say yes, if you want to add in other elements for, I would say, tax purposes. So let's say you consider yourself a media business, a media enterprise, you have an LLC, right? And your main source of your AdSense revenue or your income comes from your channel that is talking about love and relationships, right? If you want to create a second channel and document your travels, then now you have a way to blend in the tax benefits, which means that, okay, I'm traveling for work, duh. You now have a way that you can incorporate travel into what you do to help offset the cost for the travel. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a tax expert. So take what I'm saying as entertainment purposes. However, I definitely think that this is something you would want to look into, especially if you're already making a lot of money from your main YouTube channel. Go ahead and start a second channel and document your travels, document, you know, what you're buying for your travels. And that way, again, you can incorporate that into your content creation business, and it is legitimate because those videos will exist on YouTube, on a different channel. And it doesn't interfere with what your niche is. And I'm saying niche or niche, however you want to pronounce it, but you guys get what I'm saying. So it doesn't, you don't lose the value of your CPM by throwing in a whole bunch of stuff. And that's why I would suggest starting a second channel, is because you don't want to dilute your CPM, which is the amount that advertisers are paying to place their ads in your video, especially if your CPM is like, let's say 30 to 20, between 20 and maybe $30 to $40 per 1,000 views, versus a personality channel, which the CPM could be $4 per 1,000 views. You don't want that, right? You don't want to confuse AdSense. You don't want to confuse the algorithm. You don't want to confuse any of that. And so you want to be very specific with what you talk about on your channels. And then if you want to then venture off and do something else, start a new channel. That's just my advice for anybody out there who is thinking about starting a second YouTube channel. This is what I would do, and this is what I'm doing with this channel as well. I have different interests that lie outside of you know, reality TV. I do. And, you know, motivation, travel, lifestyle, they fall under that umbrella. And also teaching people how to do what it is that we're doing here on YouTube if you haven't already gotten to the point where you feel like you're successful at it yet. I want to help people who are in that position. So if you guys have additional questions, I will place the link to my ebook down below, so you can read about my experience with YouTube and how I kind of went about deciding what to do and how to do it. And I've given you a lot of game in this video, so honestly, you could take what I've given you in this video and you can go off and running with it. But if you guys have any more questions, drop them in the chatterization down below. I always say chatterization on my other channel, but drop them in the chat down below. And if you guys have suggestions for future videos or questions about future video topics, then drop those down below as well. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe. Hello, I need those subscribers. Let's get these subscribers up, all right? All right, I will catch you guys in the next video.